This is the BBC.
There is a certain suggestion of making the family slightly bigger.
See, I think I got more out of him than you did.
You did there, yeah.
Is that another dog? And the other thing, is Caroline Quinton back in this series? Because to see you back on stage together is...
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she is, yes. Oh, she's brilliant in it. Because, she has something's wrong with her eyesight, and then Dodger, the dog, needs operating on.
Yeah.
But she can't see. Oh. So she has to talk me through operating on the dog I don't really like.
She's a vet, yeah.
Yes, she's a vet.
Steve Wright's Big Guests.
We're the only people that call this guy Clunesy. It's Clunesy, everybody. It's Clunesy. It's Martin Clunes. How are you, Martin?
I'm grand. Thank you very much. What a welcome.
Well, you don't mind us calling you Clunesy, do you?
No, I'm quite tickled by it.
Does anybody else call you Clunesy?
Sometimes across the street, I'll get a Clunesy.
Oi, Clunesy!
Yeah, I'll get a bit of that. My daughter gets called Clunesy.
Well, I thought that thing last week was hilarious, where you said there was something that happened in your real life, and then you said, I think that's such and such medical thing, and then your daughter says to you, Dad, you're not a real doctor.
She never says it like that. It's like, you're not a doctor. It's really cross.
But, playing this character, Doc Martin, obviously,
yes.
Do you ever think that you know more than you should?
Daily when we're at work, because it's all bluff and makeup, isn't it? So, yes, I do. I do ask people what prescriptions they've been given a lot. I don't know why.
Yeah. What's he got to do with you?
I don't know. I'm just curious, nosy.
Could you write one before you go?
I do have a pad.
No.
But it's got Doc Martin on it?
Yeah, well, it says Port Wen, but I'm longing to try it.
Oh, that's great.
But I think you're getting imprisoned.
OK, Martin Clunes is one of television's best love actors, and tonight he returns to our screens for the 9th series of Doc Martin, playing the local GP with a rather brusque bedside manner, to say the least. In this new series, the Doc's career is hanging in the balance, as his future as a GP is under scrutiny from the General Medical Council, following complaints about his approach to patients. Well, frankly, I'm surprised they hadn't complained before now. He's a little on the moody side, isn't he?
He is. Well, the complaint happened when I saw the cut on her leg and passed out and fell on top of her.
Because he can't stand the sight of blood, of course, famously.
Sadly, poor sausage.
Where did you find him? You'd previously played a lot of comedy, a lot of theatre, a lot of different things. So was he inside of you?
We made him up, yeah. I did play a doctor in a film called Saving Grace that was shot in the same place in Cornwall. Right. And that's sort of where the idea came from. But ITV didn't think their audience would buy into that sort of thing. So, because we didn't want to do the kind of Doc Hollywood thing, we sort of felt you'd seen it before where a town guy turns up and then, and aren't these locals quirky? So we turned it on its head and sort of united a small community in horror.
And you say we, that's you and your wife?
Yes.
Real wife, not
my real wife.
Not on-screen wife.
Yeah, no, my real wife.
Well, she's your boss, technically, on Doc Martin, isn't she?
Well, I don't know. We co-workers. I don't know about their boss.
I think you find
he lied.
Yes, she is.
But when did you know this character was quite special and that people had taken to him?
Well, we didn't. I mean, he's got worse. Definitely got worse. He used to play to his strengths. But it seemed like a good use of me to be that sort of doctor, and it seemed to fit with what we didn't want to do with the scripts and the stories.
I mean, he's uptight most of the time. There are just moments that you obviously throw in where you do see that he has some sympathy and some empathy, and then just almost immediately he's back to his normal self.
Yeah.
That's so cute, though.
Oh, good, thanks. Yes. I mean, that his redeeming feature, apart from his superpower, which is medicine, is his love for his wife and his son, is very apparent, and that sort of keeps him human.
You love the dogs, generally, kind of in real life, but the dogs in the series, especially the one that plays Dodger, he gets a tough time.
He is Dodger. That's the
It is
actor's
Dodger.
name, Dodger.
Oh, I get them
He's
confused.
called Buddy, yeah.
Oh,
He's
right,
the
okay.
actor. He's a dog. He's not an actor, is he?
He is an actor. Oh, my God, he can do stuff a lot of the human actors can't. He can hit a mark.
Where does his fee go?
His fee goes to Sonia Turner, his handler and trainer. Yeah,
brilliant.
Yeah, but he's lovely.
Yeah. Well, they do say don't ever work with animals and Tim Smith, don't they? That's a thing. But it obviously works for you.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
In this new series, the Doc's career is hanging in the balance. So it's hanging in the balance, as you say, because you fell on somebody and all of that. Well, I mean, there'd be no series, obviously, if he struck off or he's sent away. So I think he's going to make it through.
Well, yes, of course, there are rights of appeal, But, I mean, there's three big challenges. The first one is somebody sits in with him while he's with patients. That's
Yes.
in the first episode. Then later on, he has to diagnose fake patients, people who are, all of these things go on for real.
Really?
Actually, I'll just tell you something you might not know. In England, you have to be medically correct when you portray any medical situation on the telly, which isn't something they have to do in America, which is why an American series they'll take out all his blood,
Yeah, you're
fill him
making
with
stuff up,
antifreeze.
yeah.
But we have to be accurate, and it's quite good, actually. It's quite sort of disciplined. So they have these fake patients who've been briefed and to present symptoms, but it's Doc Martin, so it doesn't go quite
So if a
right.
fake patient comes into a real doctor, or even actually on the show, and says, all right, well, I've got this bruising and da-da-da-da-da, and it's not a real bruise, they put it on there. If the doctor diagnoses, yes, it's a bruise, and you put this stuff on, that's not fake at all, is it? I mean, how would you
So they'll
fake
be
it?
groomed to present as, I've got this high temperature, and present symptoms, and they're sort of working to a script.
Oh, okay. So there's going to be some of that when people sit in with him. Have I got that out of you or not?
You've got that out of me, yeah? And then the final test
yeah.
is an assisted surgery. So I have to do an operation with, luckily for me, it turns out my old mentor, played by Tom Conti, but you have to wait for the final episode for that.
And what about his personal life then? Because that's always on a knife edge to some
no,
extent.
actually, yes, it is. It has been. But they seem to be settling and putting up
They're
with
okay
each
now.
other. They're okay. Louisa is now training to be a counsellor, and she's sort of setting up practice in my practice, which isn't always ideal, and sometimes there's a little crossover of...
And there's a suggestion of making the family slightly bigger in this?
There is a certain suggestion of making the family slightly bigger.
See, I think I got more out of him than you did.
You did there,
Is
yeah.
that another dog? And the other thing, is Caroline Quinton back in this series? Because to see you
Yes.
back on stage together is...
Oh, yeah.
Yes, she is, yes. Oh, she's brilliant in it. Because, she has... Something's wrong with her eyesight, and then Dodger, the dog, needs operating on.
Yeah.
But she can't see. So she has to talk me through operating on the dog I don't really like.
She's a vet, yeah.
Yes, she's a vet.
But we can tell you in this new series the pub's under pressure a little.
The pub is under pressure, as all pubs are, struggling. Yeah.
That's very contemporary. What I was going to say, congratulations on the thing that you did. This was Manhunt that you did recently, got some awards for.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Any chance of another travel programme? Because the island hopping that you did was
Yes.
fantastic. I mean, Simon Reeve has got competition, hasn't he?
Oh, well, I think we're with different customers, maybe. But yes, I'm doing the islands of the Pacific starting in November. I'll go to the Galapagos.
That's great. What can you tell us about the Doctor's character that might change? Will he ever become nicer and more... He won't?
Don't mess with my premise, Steve.
Well, I know, but...
Leave it
Sorry, I
there.
didn't mean to mess with your premise.
Leave it there. That's a no.
I'm not touching the format. I'm not touching it. That's it. You can see Martin starring as Doc Martin in the brand new series, which starts tonight, 9 p.m. on ITV. Martin Clunes. It's Clunesy, everybody. Thank you, Martin. See you next time. Good luck with the series.
Thank you very much.